All right, looks like we are live again. All right, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this full hour. Every week I make a promise, and that promise is to deliver to you an hour's worth of your time. Okay, so that's my goal here. The whole goal here with this live podcast is to demystify commercial and multifamily investing and to help you with your first deal. Okay, first thing I want to do is I want to make sure you can hear me. So you can put in the chat, yes, you can hear me. Put that in the chat, please. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right. Yes, yes. Okay, good, good. All right, so I'm fired up. So let's get going. So tonight, just like last week, if you have specific questions, you can put them, you can hit the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen and put questions there. And what this does, it works better for me and my team. We can take your questions and make sure we answer them. Because if all the questions are in the chat, and then it's hard to get to them because the chat's so crazy. All right, so let's do that. So we'll use the chat for quick things like making sure you can hear me. All right, we do things like that. So what I want to do is give you an agenda today. So the plan is the theme today is to share with you how to get your first deal. That was something very much in demand from last week's poll. So we're going to do a lot of that today. I plan on having, as I promised, a guest speaker who's amazing. You have to hear his story. He was a full-time truck driver. And you have to hear his story, how he was working 60 hours a week on the road and managed to buy $6 million worth of multifamily property while on the road. So you have to hear his story because if he can do it, so can you. All right. Okay. And then I plan on answering the questions that you sent to me prior, and then I'll open it up for live questions. So get those ready. For the live questions, can you do me a favor? Can you use the Q&A box for the live questions so that I can keep track of them. And if we can't get to them during this 1 hour, I want to make sure my team gets to them eventually, okay, before the night is over. All right. And then I plan on also playing this game of go, no go. So you enjoyed that the last 2 weeks. I have another exciting game for you on that. All right. And then lastly, I have a giveaway for you. And the giveaway is called, let me get the exact, how to present your deal to private money investors for total beginners. Okay, so let's say you come across a deal, you like it, it's a great deal. You may know someone who may have the money. How do you present it to them? I have all the scripts for you tonight. I'm going to give that to you as a giveaway. But guess what? You have to stay to the end to get that. And my team at the very end we'll put the link that you can click on it and download it and use it. Okay. All right. Okay. So quick icebreaker. Could you put in the chat where you are dialing in from? All right. We had some folks from London, from Brazil. All right. Put in the chat. Toronto, New York, South Carolina, Florida, Indiana, Iowa. All right. Memphis, Texas. All right. Tampa. Did I see a foreign country there? Awesome. California, Florida, Houston, Delaware, Alabama, West Palm Beach. All right. That is awesome. All right. Thanks, everyone, so much. Again, pleasure to have you here. I'm so excited. All right. And look, I really look forward to these Tuesday nights because it's live. Okay. And I like to do things on the cuff like this and just go for it. And I'm going to deliver tonight. All right. So what I want to share with you tonight, real quick, is you may not know this story, but let me share the story with you. All right. Some of you may have. When I first started this business, how I got started was I was a single father, right? I was an engineer and just my son and I. Okay. His mom left us many years ago, just he and I. Okay. And I made a promise that I would take care of him or else she will get them back. So there's no way I'm going to give him back. All right. So just he and I for many, many years. And I was an engineer. And I worked with this great man named Nick Tujimoto. Great man, just amazing. And for some reason, he took me under his wings and I was his mentee. He built up our company until it was a huge company. And it got so big, he decided to hire a C-suite, CFO, CEO, sales managers, and everything. And then he gave them full run of the company. Okay. Make a long story short, they laid him off without telling him. Okay. And their intention was to put me, a third of his salary in his place to run what he did. So I have my dream job looking at me dead in the face. I always wanted to be director of technology of a company in Silicon Valley. Here's my chance, handed to me in a silver plate. But I was conflicted because the way they treated my mentor. So I went home, talked to my dad, and my dad didn't give me an answer. He just kept asking me questions. So to make a long story short, I didn't take the job. Okay. And I knew what my dad was doing. My dad kept asking me questions to have me go deeper to finding my why of what I want to do with my life. So I did not take the job. And I eventually turned and went into real estate. And here I am today. All right. So I share this story with you about what can happen in a corporate life, how cutthroat it is. Can anyone out there relate to this story? Put it in chat. Can you relate to that story of your job not being secure? Does anyone relate to that? Yes, a lot of yeses. Okay. Another story, we have a student named Sam, and he's in Silicon Valley. Okay. And he's married. He has daughters, 8 and 9 years old. And he was an IT manager for 20 years. And he found us on YouTube, joined our program. Awesome guy. Okay, awesome guy. And I'll put his link to his interview on the screen here so you can watch his video later. But basically, on the first call I had with Sam, any student that comes into our program, I do the first call with them, and I get to ask them, what's your why? Sam's why was this. Listen very carefully. Sam's why was, Peter, I want the freedom to no longer worry. Okay, that stuck with me. He wanted the freedom to no longer worry. So to make a long story short, and in about 2.5 to 3 years, Sam no longer worries because of one commercial deal. He bought a huge self-storage RV and boat storage facility, right? And up north. And guess what? It was with the master lease. It was seller financing. There was no way he could afford a $5 million property. He didn't have 25%. Okay. So he bought that property. So sometimes all it takes is one deal, especially when you know what your why is. And Sam's why was he wanted freedom from worry. Last quick story I share with you is I have a student named Vicky from when our company did webinars, seminars. That was a long time ago. I remember Vicky, she had fiery red hair. She was full of energy. And she came to our seminar and signed up right away. And again, in my first phone call with her, I realized why she signed up. All right. So sometimes your whys can be very personal. Okay. Vicky came to us as a recent divorced person. And she explained to me, and this was actually in the newspapers, unfortunately, her husband was very powerful politically in the city. And when they got divorced, he told a fib, and she was put into jail, and he took their son, and he went away, right? And that was so. Imagine what Vicky's why is, right? To make a long story short, Vicky worked with us, and she used a master lease, and Vicky and her son, okay, now owns about $6 million worth of multifamily property in Texas. So imagine what Vicky's why was, right? It was her son, and it's to achieve financial freedom. So my question for you tonight is, or statement to you is, your why must be stronger than your fear, or your fear will win every single time. Okay, that is the truth. Got it? Okay, so what I want you to do now, if you can, I'd like to hear this from you. Could you put in the chat box, tell me what your why is, just real quick. Is it financial freedom? Is it options from work? Is it to leave a financial legacy to your family? Is it to retire? Is it to participate in ministry full time? Right? So tell me what all right. So freedom, entrepreneur, create legacy. Yes. This person was divorced too. Control my future, financial freedom, live with plenty, financial legacy, purpose. Thank you. Thank you. Financial freedom, kids' college, freedom, financial freedom. Yep. Legacy, right? Purpose, retirement income, independence. Yes. Yes. Thank you for sharing all this. This is really good. All right, really good. Thank you for sharing your whys with me. All right. So now what I like to do is I want to share. I want to bring someone on here, but let me give you a quick intro. His name is Dave, and Dave is one of our students, and I'll let him share with you what his why is. But imagine Dave driving a hazardous waste, a hazardous chemical truck for many, many years and working 60 hours a week away from his family, from his home, and not having any end in sight on his financial life. And how do you invest in commercial real estate when you have a job like that? Well, Dave got it done, and I'm going to bring him on here, and he's going to share his story. So, Dave, can you unmute yourself and get on the call here?
Yes, I can hear you, Peter. How you
All
doing?
right. All right, Dave. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Loud and clear. See you
All
good.
right. Dave, first of all, thanks for being on with us tonight. I really
Sure,
appreciate
no
it.
problem.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So Dave, we're gonna jump right into it. Could you share with me before you joined our coaching program, share with us what wasn't working for you, right? Financially or personally, right? Sure.
Yeah.
That's another way of asking your why. So please share that with all of us.
hmm Exactly. Yeah. Being in the transportation for years, I started looking at the light at the end of the tunnel, going, "What does that look like?" And the financial part, the just numbers weren't making sense. I knew, I'd have a fixed income, but was it going to be enough? And the answer was no.
Hmm.
So I needed to find options, what's out there. And being that I was kind of a late starter, I was looking, how can I mitigate the risks and find a team that I can work with to get me to that goal?
Dave, how would you define late starter?
Yeah, this was like past my 40s
Hmm.
and really wasn't planning, thinking that ahead. It kind of just hit me.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And you were mentioning you were on the road 60 hours a week.
Yep, 60 hours plus.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. So, what was there a moment in time where you decided, I have to do something different? I've been watching Peter's videos maybe, and I have to make a call. Was there one moment or a period of time where you just had to do it?
Yeah, exactly. Because I was thinking, what can I do to have potential cash flow to create enough security after I retire? Because, like I said, numbers didn't make sense. So, I kept thinking, like, how can I do that? So, was on YouTube there searching, found you, and there was quite a few videos. I know the one on terms, in your whiteboard video. And then the other one, the mindset video, that was a pivotal one for me. Huge.
Hmm.
My mindset wasn't right. Where do I go? Where do I start? How does money work? And that was a big one for me.
Yeah. So Dave, so now you're retired. I think it was September of this year, right?
Correct.
Okay. Then you took a month-long trip to Europe with the family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hmm
awesome. And then Dave, prior to that, when you first joined the program 3 or 4 years ago, how did you maneuver around driving a truck for 60 hours a week and getting able to talk to me, get on our coaching calls and call brokers and talk to sellers? How'd you do all that?
Yeah. It's for one, it was motivation, making prioritizing, putting other things aside that I knew had to wait and not letting distractions get in front of me. So the limited time that I did have, where I could have leisure time or whatever, which I had a little bit, but I knew and when you invest, you got to give up a little bit and think ahead. Can I get to that goal quicker? So I just had to be very strategic that way, and make sure it was priority and that I was motivated, which I was, to know that I'm going to get to this goal and I have to make some adjustments here with a little bit of time that I had.
Okay, Dave, you still didn't answer my question. Okay, so they want to know, Dave, you're driving the truck, man. You're driving the truck all day long, right? So do you make the
Right.
calls in the truck, or do you go to sleep and wake up, or
Right.
how'd you do this?
Yeah. So on the days off, I started just, making phone calls after you and I started talking and got into the program. But um, basically, I had to be strategic on those days off, when to call brokers and, get that team together. As we know, it's a people business, right?
Yeah.
So we need people to work with. We had to put a team together. And I share this all the time where, I just really got into the software that you guys offer. The tools are incredible. So, but yeah, to your point, I had to pick and choose that little time I had and prioritize in what I was going to do to, solidify the future, minimize
Okay,
that risk.
great, great. Thank you, Dave. Thank you for answering that
Mhm.
question. Everyone out there, as we go through this short interview with Dave, if you have any questions, put the questions for Dave in the Q&A box so I can keep track of them. Okay, and I'll bring my Q&A box in front of me. So as you bring questions to Dave, if we have time, Dave and I can go through some of these. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Okay, great. All right, Dave, second question. Could you walk us through your first deal, right? So us as your coaches, how'd you find it? How'd you finance it, right? And then how'd you close on it? So talk us through
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, yeah. So after a few calls, we and exercising, learning how to maneuver through your guys' system and entering deals, we went off market. Okay,
Mm.
so we did that, which was a great strategy, nice option. Um, so we were able to do that. We got connected with the seller directly, by doing that, working together, and just built rapport with the seller.
Okay, let's
Okay,
stop right
and
there for a
then
second, Dave. This is a cool
yep.
story. Everyone out there, Dave is the epitome of knowing how to nurture the relationships in commercial real estate because that's what we teach. This is a relationship-based business. So, Dave, tell us a little
Mhm.
bit about this seller and everyone listen because this is so typical when you go direct to the seller, right? And you find an off-market deal, you really have to get to know them. And Dave knows the seller very well by the way he describes them. So describe the seller, Dave.
Yeah, exactly. So this gentleman, after we got connected, we just kind of talked, and really, when we first connected, we didn't really talk with the deal that much because he was asking a lot of questions. So I just started building rapport with him, thinking like, you know what, that's okay. Be patient in real estate, right? Be patient with the people that you're working with. So we just started talking, and then we connected for coffee. And just mind you, he's an hour and a half away. I wasn't backyard investing, so it's possible to do it, out of the area. So I drove out there, with this little small window of time that I had, priority, right, to connect with the seller. And then we started talking about the deal and the numbers and what was his motivation for selling and what was his plans. And then we went from there. Mhm.
Okay. All right. So everyone out there, the notes you should be taking is establishing a connection with the seller,
Mhm.
coffee, right, and seller motivation. And that's how you put the deal together, right, Dave?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. hmm
Mhm.
hmm And by the way, everyone, Dave was able to purchase, I think it was 45 units, Dave, about $6 million in properties, and they were all small multifamily. What was the largest size?
Yeah. Largest I think it was a 9 unit. Mhm.
Yeah, Yeah.
Yep.
So everyone, Dave is retired. You don't need a 100 unit property to retire.
Nope.
No, you
No.
just have to do it smartly like Dave did. And I
Mhm.
tell you what, I have coaching calls every week, several days a week, and Dave was on every single one, right? And when Dave called, he called me to give me an update of all the action he took. And all he did was follow our manual, right? Right, Dave?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, great, Dave. Thanks for that. All right, Dave, next question for someone right now who is sitting where you are, maybe they're feeling stuck, right, in their life or their career. Um, what would you say would be the about the risk of them staying where they are, Dave, as opposed to investing in themselves and doing what you did? What would you
Right.
have to say about that?
Yeah, and risk, it's almost like it's weird the way I explain it, but it's always it's like backwards. Everybody thinks that, hey, I keep a job, right? Go right to retirement, no risk. People don't think about, well, what if I get laid off? What happens to my income? So I flipped that and said, wait, that is the risk. And I got to find a way to invest with a team that can mitigate that. That could be something that we can control together, right? That could get us to that goal, something that I can help with a team control that, right? I can't control whether or not or guarantee myself I will be here, 40 years or 30 years at a job, right? So
Yeah,
that was probably one of the risks that I looked at and said, well, or what if I get hurt? Okay, and I can't work or am I disabled? Income stops. What can I do to create passive income? So if those things do happen, I have backup. I have other streams of income. And these are things that you and I, Peter, talked about as we strategized to help me grasp that. And then said, yay, commercial real estate can get you to that point. Mhm.
yeah, yeah. And Dave, would you say that, if you can do it, anyone could do it?
Yes, yeah, definitely. If I can do it, working 60 hours, you guys out there working less, trust me, you
Because
guys can
Dave,
do it.
Dave, you didn't, in those 60 hours, you couldn't take a lunch break and go to the break room and make a call, right?
Could not do that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You're on the road driving a truck and you have to be very aware of what you're driving because your truck contains chemicals, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. All right. What would you say to the person who is maybe in your shoes and you're trying to encourage them to start now, but they have hesitation? I know you're really into the mindset thing, Dave. What would you say to them?
Yeah. For one, I would say go to Commercial Property Advisors, YouTube, subscribe to that because there's a lot of videos there that are so relevant that are 7, 8 years old. The mindset one's about that, and that's still super relevant. And that is one that will prepare you for your goal. So yeah, the main thing is to get started, right?
Yeah.
Find a way to shift your mindset, prepare yourself. And if you're overwhelmed, get with a team that will help you step by step to get you to absorb that. Okay, it's all structured. The program's structured to where, you don't have to learn everything in a month, right? You will absorb it. You will connect with Peter and his team, and then everybody can go at their own pace, right? And then, but the goal is the same. The fundamentals are there to help you get to
Yeah.
that goal.
Great,
Yeah.
Dave.
So I'd say
Dave,
take action. Yeah.
Dave, I'm looking at some of the questions here, and
Hmm.
so they're wondering, well, first of all, how many properties did you buy over the 45 units? How many properties were there?
Yeah, it's a 7 total.
Okay, 7 total properties.
Hmm.
So how do you drive a truck 60 hours a week and be able to manage that portfolio? How'd you
All
do that?
right. Yeah. Well, definitely not myself. So this is where a team comes in. And again, I got to stress this, that when you hear Peter talking about it's a people business, again, a building's a building, but the people around it is what's going to get you to build that asset to get it to where it needs to go. Okay, so that's what I needed. I needed a team because I didn't have time to go manage the property. I didn't have time to go an hour and a half or 3 hour round trip to go check on stuff. So that's part of the program. It helps you to connect, with property managers, mainly are the ones you'll be working with when you acquire that first property.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I can say, Dave, your property manager, Nicole, was one of the best I've seen.
Awesome.
She was awesome. So I was telling our students, if you can find a good property manager in that area, build your portfolio around that property manager. And that's what you did.
Correct.
One
Correct.
property manager, Nicole, and she just kicked butt. Yeah,
She
she was
did.
awesome.
She
She was
did.
awesome.
And
Yeah.
one of her strengths, Peter, is communication.
Mm,
Okay. She can manage a property because I talked to a bunch of them before we got connected. Okay. Because that's part of it, right? We need to go out there and connect and reach out to them. But she's just a great communicator. And
yeah.
that's gold when something happens over the weekend,
Yep.
or you
Yep.
need to connect. Yeah. So she
Exactly.
was great.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Dave, we have about 4 minutes left. Do you mind if we go through a
Yep.
couple of questions here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, okay, great. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay. Hey, Caleb is asking, hey Dave, how did you deal with incoming messages and calls while you were working on your day job?
Yeah, good question. Well, I would do that in either in between stops or in my short breaks that I had.
Hmm. Okay, good,
Yep.
good answer. Okay, here's a
Mhm.
here's a good one. How did you get the courage to make the calls and get financing?
Ooh, man. You know what? Look at your why, guys. Look at your why, and it'll get you over the hump because I had a lot of fear. I shared this with Peter, picking up the phone and calling brokers. Just, you got to be motivated and just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Richard has a good question, Dave. How did Dave manage the physical due diligence, and what would Dave consider to be his superpower?
Yeah. As far as like going to the properties when I needed
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
those kind of physical.
your due diligence. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, being strategic with the limited time I had when I was working towards my Thursday and Friday schedule, I was already planning what am I going to do with the time that I have off if there was anything needed to be done or if I need to go to that property. But a lot of
Mhm.
times, because I had an awesome property manager, she was able to save a lot of time. So that's why we stress that.
Ye-
Yeah, get yourself
Yeah,
property manager.
great, great. All right. And what about your superpower?
And my superpower, I would say communication, like we talked about, building rapport and utilizing those tools so where you don't have to go out there.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Dave, I've known you for like 4 or 5 years now. Your superpower is knowing God. All right. That's just you straight about that.
Ultimately, that's right.
That's right. That's right. Okay, Dave, this is from Christopher. Let's see. This one's for Dave. What was your best past about working with Peter? I think you answered that one, his coaching program. I'm interested, but really want to hear out first. All right. So, Christopher, what I'm going to do is I have the team I have team members standing by, Christopher. And team, can you put up in the chat box how to get in contact with one of you guys so Christopher can speak with you or register? All right. Some of you may have the same question as Christopher. So put that up, please. All right. And all right. Let's see. Oh, how did you find your first off-market deal?
Good question. Commercial property advisors. They got
Yeah,
the info.
yeah.
Okay, we were off market.
Yeah,
Yep.
let me say, let me add to that, Dave. So that's something that I have spent hours and thousands of dollars and thousands of hours on teaching our students what to do. There are many
Mhm.
ways to go to find off-market deals, but that's just isn't it, right? So when you find an off-market deal, well, first of all, which off-market deal are you going to go after? So we were very specific on Dave's goals on which
Yep.
properties we're going to go after. Remember that, Dave?
Mhm.
And then
Yep.
the communication to those property owners had to be very specific, right? And then once you find them,
Mhm.
what do you say? And I think that's where we really shine, and that's where you shine because you're a talkable person, right?
Mhm,
And then, of
mhm.
course, getting their motivations and bringing it back to the coaching calls and having us walk you through that. All right.
Yeah.
And all right. Oh, okay. This one's from look, Alfie. What if you're introverted, find it difficult to approach sellers? All right. And Dave, you don't have to answer this one. So, Alfie, I am Mr. Introvert. Ask my team. Okay, I am Mr. Introvert. When my wife and I go places, I'm in the corner looking for one person to talk to while she's out. When we're at church, I'm asking, okay, the game is starting in 45 minutes. I'm going to go home and just be with you and my dog. Right. So I'm Mr. Introvert. You don't have to answer that one, Dave. So introverts have an advantage in this business because we like to nurture one-on-one relationships. And that's what Dave is good at, even though he's not an introvert, but he's good at that. And so some of our best students, right, are introverts. So you're in good
Yeah.
shape, good hands there. Okay. All right, Dave, if you don't mind, everyone, thank you for the questions. Dave, you don't mind if you can just hang out in the background with us, right? And then
Yep.
we're going to go through, we may have to come back and go through some of these questions again, okay? All
Sure.
right.
Sounds
So
good.
before you go, Dave, everyone, I recorded this series, Multifamily Millionaires with Dave, and Dave is I forgot part 2 or part 3. The team will put his video, his YouTube video, on the link. So if you want to see exactly what Dave bought, right? If you want to see exactly how he financed all the properties and how he find them, that video will appear. It's in the link right there. Multifamily Millionaire Series Part 4 Truck Driver. That's Dave.
Mhm.
All right. Everyone's saying thank you, Dave. So thank you so much, Dave. All right. So Dave,
Welcome.
hang out with us, okay?
Sounds good.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Okay. Thanks, Dave. We'll be talking soon.
Okay.
All right. Okay, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. Did you enjoy that with Dave? All right. I love these short, impactful interviews. All right. So what I want to do next is uh, I'm going to share a poll with you. Okay. And this poll is directly connected to what we just did. And Michael, thank you for giving me access to the poll. Here's the poll I want to ask here. Let me launch it here. Here's the poll. Okay. And the poll is, if nothing changes for you by the end of 2026, how would you feel? How would it make you feel? Very uncomfortable, concerned, but I'm still thinking it through. Neutral, I'm okay either way, and I haven't really thought about it. So please put your answers in there. Okay. If nothing changes financially for you by the end of 2026, how would that make you feel? Okay. I'll say this, commercial real estate is not a get rich quick business. It takes time. It took Dave 3 to 4 years to get where he's at. Okay. Sometimes it takes the same amount of time with Sam. They use an example, just the one deal, and he's set. That deal is ongoing. We're taking it from 2 million to 5 million, eventually probably 25 million eventually. Okay. It takes time, but it's life changing. It's life changing. Okay, thank you for putting the votes there. Yeah, thank you. So majority of you would feel very uncomfortable that you must change if nothing changes financially for you by the end of 2026. Okay, so we're coming up to the beginning of 2026. All right. Okay. Team, can you do this? If anyone's interested in learning more about being coached like Dave, can you put the link up there? Okay. I want to focus on more of this training here. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Now what I want to do here is check my time. It looks like we're good on time. I want to do a deep dive into answering some of your questions. Okay. So let's go through some of the questions. Okay. All right. Here's the first question. This one's from last week. I thought this one was good, so I brought this one forward. I didn't get a chance to answer this one. It says from last week, we want to identify and close on a commercial property by June 2026. Realistically, how much time should we allocate to our business to accomplish that goal? Okay. Fortunately, I don't have your first name, but what you want to do is get started right away. So it's not really how much time we have to dedicate, it's the timing of getting started. Okay. Realistically, you'd have to get your deal under contract in March to close it in June, because it takes 60 to 90 days to find and finance and close on a typical commercial deal. It takes a few months. Okay. Whether it's conventional, commercial, it takes a while for many reasons. Okay. So hopefully answer that question there. All right. Question number 2. This is from last week as well. Okay, this is a repeat question, but kind of what Dave and I went through. What are the systems we gain access to that helps identify off-market properties? Skip tracing, AI caller, are you using AI? Okay, basically there are so many options and so many ways we teach our students to go off-market. Perhaps that can be a future call, but it takes a week of maybe a week and a half of training the student, 10 days of how to do this. And they meet with me personally on that part, on designing that strategy for the students, because it is so important, because anyone can find a deal, right? But what about finding off-market deals? You can go to LoopNet, MLS, but what about finding the off-market deals? That takes skill, right? And that takes years of knowing what to do, how to find it, who to target. All that takes skill, right? So it takes time, right? And then, let alone how to negotiate with them, what questions to ask, and then bring it back to the coaches so we can coach you on what to say and what to do to get that deal under contract. Okay, so there's a lot into that. All right, question number 3 is, do you recommend an LLC holding company structure? Who do you use to establish LLCs? Do you recommend we establish a general operating LLC? All right, so again, I don't have the name, but hopefully you're out there, right? Yeah, we recommend that you put every property into an LLC, all right? And here's why. When you have, let's say you buy a 12-unit property, so we have 12 units, you have 12 people, each person is a potential lawsuit, all right? So one person trips over the curb and hits their elbow and cracks it, guess what? They can sue you, right? So if you have if you bought the property and put it in your name, they can easily find you and sue you. If their property is in LLC, they can only go after what's in the LLC, which is the property. If it's not in an LLC and it's under your name, they can go after you, the money you make on your job, your home, your retirement, all that. Okay, so yes, you will put your properties in the LLC. Now, in terms of structure, how you would structure it, the property will be owned by the LLC, and then you will have a holding company, whether that's another LLC, a C Corp, or S Corp, it depends on your tax status. So you have additional layer, and then the property LLC will report to the holding company, okay? And then you manage it all, okay? So that's a basic structure to provide you the most protection. Hopefully I answered that. I will do a future YouTube video on that. It's a great topic. Okay, question number 4, how do you analyze a property to know if it's a good deal or not? Okay, that's something I really want to focus on today. All right, so with our students, here's what we teach. If someone were to ask me, Peter, what's a good deal? What's a bad deal? Here's how to define a good deal. A good deal is a property that you find that you can buy that's priced under market, right? So if it's worth $1 million, we want to buy it under $1 million. That's a good deal to me. How about you, right? Number 2, we want to find a property where we can raise the rents. Because as you know from my training, as the rents go up, as the NOI goes up, guess what else goes up? The property value. So you're going to make the most amount of money in commercial by doing just that, getting the rents up over time, increasing the cash flow, increasing the value, and then years down the road, get a big payday there. Okay, so that's number two. Number three is we want the property to be located in a good neighborhood. You cannot make good money in a property located where the property is a neighborhood that makes 11 o'clock news. All right, because those type of areas attract people who do not pay rent. And we are in the rental collection business. Okay, all right, hope I answered that question. Okay, Darina is asking, how do you find financing for a value add deal if the debt coverage ratio is below 1.2% and seller financing is not an option? So what Dorina is asking is, how do you find financing for a property where you can raise the rents and increase value, but the property, it says DSCR, that means debt service coverage ratio. That is the ratio between your NOI and your mortgage. And when that ratio is 1, that means you're breaking even. When you're 1.2, you're cash flowing. So she says below 1.2, so it means you're barely cash flowing. So how do you find a loan for a property that has upside for rent, but today is not cash flowing very well? And the answer is a bridge loan. Okay, so Dorina, a bridge loan, what it does, it's a loan that allows you to buy the property where it is, and the property where it is needs to have a good story attached. Bridge lenders like good stories, and the story should be something like this: I can buy it, Mr. Lender. I can put X dollars into it. I can raise the rents, and then from there, it will bridge you over to permanent financing. That's why it's called a bridge loan. But you got to have a good story. Okay, bridge lenders want a good story. All right. Okay. Okay, and let's see. Next, Bob is asking, what's the best approach for capital raising? All right, this is one of my favorite topics to teach our students, because a lot of our students are coming into our program with no money or a little bit of money or just not so much. And what they have to learn, all of us, is eventually, and this happened to me too, is after you buy your first deal or two, you're out of money. What are you going to do? You're not going to stop investing. So it is a natural progression to learn how to raise capital. All of us, okay, no matter who you are, okay? We have taught, single moms how to raise money. We taught engineers, people who, just the everyday people, how to raise money. In fact, if you stay to the end tonight, I'm going to give you a script that shows you how to approach an actual person and what to say, what to present to them to get them excited about your deal. So stay to the end, I'll give that to you. But let me answer Bob's question. What is the best approach to capital raising? So Bob, let me ask you this. Bob, if you had the money yourself, okay, and someone approached you and wanted you to invest your money into the deal, what would you want? Okay, you'd want a good deal in a good area with a good operator, right? So the first two we can relatively get. The third one, a good operator, it takes a transfer of wisdom to be good at that. We have the wisdom. Our team has the wisdom, so we can transfer that to you. Okay, finding a good deal in a good area, yeah, you can probably figure that out. But becoming a good operator takes skill, right? 25 years of skill of doing it, and we teach our students exactly that, step by step. Okay, all right. Let's see. Check our time. Okay, we're real good on time. Let me ask one more question here. All right. Okay, here's a question here. This person is Vusu Muzi. I hope I pronounced your name correct. It says, I have a huge problem with fear and lack of confidence of taking action. How can I overcome this animal? Okay, great question. Well, first of all, I'll call you Vusu. Okay, first of all, Vusu, having fear is very healthy. Okay, like the fear of making mistakes. It's very healthy in this business. If you didn't have the fear, I would be concerned. Okay, you're too confident, and we can't be too confident in this business, right? So you may say, Peter, I'm fear. Well, let me just say this. A lot of times the fear is based on a misunderstanding in the business, right? You may say, Peter, I have fear of losing my earnest money deposit, right? Or I may have fear of just not doing great due diligence and making big mistakes, right? So what I want you to do is number one, VUSU, is to get educated. Okay, read my book right there. Okay, all right, read the book. And team, can you put the link for this book right on the screen, please? Thank you. This book right here. You can download it, VUSU, and get it. It'll give you a good, solid foundation. So number one is to get educated. Okay, to get over the fear. Number two, VUSU, wisdom says to start small. Okay, so when you make some mistakes, when the deal is small, the dollar cost to fix it is small. Okay, start small. And secondly, is you need to get help. And as I say, anyone over the age of 40 and you want to get in a commercial, don't do it yourself. It's too much at risk financially, right? If you make a mistake after the age of 40, will you have time to recover? I don't know, maybe not. So why not get help from a company like us to walk you through step by step and avoid what we call the landmines of investing in commercial real estate. We can help you avoid the landmines because there's several. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's do this now. I'm going to spend some time. I'm running out of time here, but I think we're okay for time. I'm going to do some live question Q&A. So can you put your questions into the Q&A box? Okay. Put your questions in there. All right. Okay. All right. So here we are. Okay. Oh, here's a good question from Michelle. Is it better to get into mobile home parks or apartment complexes? Michelle, why not both? Okay. There is a plethora of apartments everywhere. There's not so many mobile home parks. So you can actually do both, right? So I like both equally, right? So I would say do both. If I had a preference, apartments, but I also like mobile home parks because they're not building any more brand new mobile home parks. So there's a fixed supply there of them. So I would do that. Okay. Let's see. How much money did you have to start? I wonder if this is for Dave. All right. Okay. Maybe it's not for Dave. How much money do you have to start? All right. So let me answer it this way. I'm going to answer it in a roundabout way, but it's very impactful. Let's say you're wondering, Peter, I want to join your program, but it costs X dollars, right? Let me share this with you. We had a student, and he came in at a certain price. And to make a long story short, what we did was we helped him get his first deals, a 24-unit under contract. And then we were able to help him negotiate $40,000 back at closing. Okay, now this is not a $40,000 price reduction. Okay, this is not a $40,000 credit. Okay, this is a $40,000 cash back at closing. Okay, so he was able to make more than he put into the program at the end of his transaction by working with us and allowing us to help him negotiate. Okay, so it's really not about the money. Okay, I go back to your why. And I have it here, your why must be stronger than your fear, or your fear will win every single time. Okay, so that's how I answer that one. All right, so let's see whether, do you believe in redeveloping neighborhoods? Absolutely, okay? But Rihanna, you have to make sure when you are redeveloping neighborhoods that the neighborhood's in the upswing, okay? There's some areas in certain cities, including my city, that the growth has been like this. I wouldn't invest in there, right? Mainly because it's poor, a lot of poverty, and some social issues there. So that the values of the homes and the properties thing like this. So you want to buy something in a redeveloping neighborhood that's already in the upswing. Okay, already in the upswing. All right. Okay. Let's see. Section 8's for guaranteed cash flow, a good idea. Absolutely. One of my best deals was, and one of my best deals and my best set of tenants were actually Section 8. So I love Section 8. Okay. You get the checks every month. right? Every month in every year in April, you get your 4 to 5 to 6% rent increase, right? So I absolutely love Section 8. All right, let's see here. Let's see. All right, let's see. Let's see. Okay, more questions here. All right. Okay, let me check my, oh, guess what? I have 10 minutes left. So you know what I want to do here is I want to talk about something else here. All right. So let me do this here. All right. Let me do what I want to do is I want to go to this, I want to share my screen. I want to go to this game that you guys really enjoy. And it's really going to help you understand what is a good deal or a bad deal. All right. Do you guys see that? All right. All right. So we're going to play go, no go. And I want you to use the chat button for this. Okay. Use the chat button. All right. Let me make sure I can see. All right. Okay. All right. So let's get started here. Give me 1 second here. I need to get to this screen if I can get to it. Okay. All right. Okay, here we go here. All right. So let's play this real quick. All right. So look at this property. We call this the high cap rate trap. Okay. So 16 unit property, 1.2 million, 9.5% cap rate, declining industrial town, needs 150K repairs. Is this a go or no go? So put that in the chat. Is this a go or no go? All right. I see the answers there. Great, great. This is a no-go, okay? Because it's a high cap rate trap. And it's in a declining market. It needs $150,000 repairs. Look, it says no rent upside, no value creation, and the high cap rate reflects high risk, okay? So I want you to put in my team, can you put the cap rate video into the chat? I really want them to understand that deals are just not about cap rate, not to get trapped with that. Okay. And the lesson here is cap rate alone doesn't make a good deal. You need growth potential. Okay, let's go to the next one real quick here. All right. The value add potential, 20 unit apartment building, priced at 1.8, 90K per door, cap rate 6.2%, growing suburb, new jobs. The rents are $200 below market. Is this a go or no go? Go or no go? All right, put your answers in there. All right, okay, all right. We have some mixed answers there. All right, this is a go because this is a value add winner. Okay, this whole game is about what's a good deal, what's a bad deal. This is a good one. You have a growing market where you can get appreciation. You're going to create, look at this, $800,000 in forced appreciation. You have a $200 rent bump. Low cap rate is okay with this upside. All right. Remember I mentioned to you, but you want to have rent upside. You can force appreciation. Here's the lesson. Buy in growth markets with rent upside. That's where wealth is created. Got it? Okay. Let's go to the next one real quick here. All right. Here's a perfect storm. 12 unit apartment building, $900,000, 7.8% cap rate, occupancy 50% because it's mismanaged, and the condition is rentable. It just needs cleanup. Is this a go or no go? Which one? Go or no go? All right, here's the answer. I see all the answers coming in. This is a go. Okay, it's a go because it's the perfect storm. All right, listen up. 50% occupancy means you have massive upside, right? And the RAM size $150 a month. You can force your appreciation. Motivated seller, you get negotiating power. All right, so these types of deals are what we're good at. We're really good at these types of deals. And the best way to find them is to go off market, okay? Because if you buy them on market, guess what? The price will be so high that the upside will be taken away. This is why most of you, when you get onto LoopNet or MLS and you plug in numbers, there's no cash flow, right? Because they're priced, extremely high, right? And when you go off market, you can get these types of deals if you go direct to the seller. Okay, all right. Okay, here's number 4, the shiny object, 24 unit new construction, 3.6 million, cap rate 4%, hot class A market. Okay, 0 deferred maintenance. That means you have to do nothing with the property. The rents are maxed out. Is this a go or no go? Let me have your answers. You're going to go for this one or no go? All right, let's see the answer. This is a no go. Okay, no go because it's a shiny object trap. Okay, it's a 4% cap rate. That means you're paying for appreciation. That means it's priced too high, right? Technically speaking, when you buy a 4 cap rate deal, you're going to have to put down 45% to make a cash flow. You know that's not exactly leveraging. Okay. All right. High price per unit is a high market risk, especially if you're buying in some belt areas where things are overbuilt. Better watch out there. All right. So no value add equals no forced appreciation. And the fourth one, this is an institutional play. Okay. Not for beginners. Institutional play means the big boys love to buy properties like this. Okay. The big boys, so the REITs, the ones that own billions of dollars worth of properties, they buy these types of properties because they want the asset. We, and you on the other hand, we're in it for the cash flow and equity buildup. Okay, they're not. They want the asset. Okay, completely different. Let them have it. Okay, all right. Let's go to the last one here. The last one is the hidden gem, the 18-unit apartment building. All right, price at 1.35, cap rates at 7%. Stable markets, Yale University. Seller financing available. Is this a go or no go? Give me your answers. Go or no go. Okay. See those answers there? I have a bunch of goes. I have a bunch of goes. There's the answer. It's a go, right? It's a hidden gem because seller financing can equal higher return potential. Okay. Master lease, seller carry first, seller carry second. Right, all those types of techniques that we can do, and seller financing is kind of we just love doing it. Team, do you mind putting in the chat some of our seller financing videos in the chat so they can see them? Okay, and so the lesson here: seller motivation plus financing security equals a good thing. All right. Okay. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Okay. So what I want to do here is I'm going to go to this quick poll here. Now to finish that here, let me bring it up. Our poll. Okay, let me get to the poll, Michael. There we go. Okay, to the poll. All right. Let me go back here. All right. So what I want to do here real quick, first of all, I am going to go over a few minutes. Are you guys okay with that? I go over a few minutes. Can you hang out with me for a little bit? Okay. You guys are okay? Okay, good. Okay, great. All right. Okay, I'm going to relaunch this poll. And here's the poll. All right. Who would like to get mentored by me? Right. Some of you want to get mentored by Dave. All right. So that's okay too. All right. So what I want you to do is put your yes there, and if you're interested in the chat, we're going to put in how to reach out to us. So team, anyone who's interested in getting coached or mentored by me and my team, could you put the link there for them, please, and they can click on it. And we're gonna after the seminar ends, we're all gonna hang out for like 15-20 minutes. So if you want to have a chat with us, we're open to that. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you for answering the poll. That is awesome. Okay. I'm going to end the poll there. All right. Okay. We have like perfect timing today. Look at that. Perfect. perfect time. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. So the next thing I want to do is I have this. I want to share this with you real quick. Let me go back to the screen share, if you don't mind. Okay. I need to go back there one more time. Okay. I want to share this with you here. Where is it? Okay, there it is. All right. So I want to share one last thing. We did that already. Okay. So I want to give this to you. You know, when I did a poll last week, even the last 2 weeks at the polls, many of you are interested in using how to get private money. Okay, so each week I have given you a giveaway, right? How to find them, right? What to say once you find them, and now I'm going to give away to you how to present your deal to private money investors. Okay, and it says for total beginners. Okay, the way I wrote this is if you're like an 8th grader, you can do this. When you read it, you'll see it is literally for 8th graders, and it works. Our students use it to raise millions of dollars. Okay, so use this script. It is so easy. It is so convincing, and you'll see. Okay, so basically how I set up is if you found a deal, you're excited, you know the property is a winner, right? But now you need to convince someone else to invest in you, right? So you're going to learn exactly what to say, how to say it, and guess what? In 5 minutes, right? That's all it takes is 5 minutes. So I set it up like that. So my team will put onto the screen, right? I'm going to stop share here. And team, can you put in the chat the giveaway there, right? The giveaway for tonight. And do that. Go ahead and do that, team. All right. Okay, the giveaway. All right, do I see it? Is it there, team? The giveaway. Okay, there it is. All right, so everyone click on it. And like I said, it is written as if the person doing it is like in the 8th grade. So anyone could do it, okay? I just challenge you to get it, print it out, and try it and send me a message. Okay, next time, next week, because we're going to do this again. Next week, I'd like to hear the results from you using this. Let me know if it worked, because I know it will. Okay. All right. Okay. A few more minutes left. Do you have any last questions for me? Any last questions? Put it in the question and answer mode. We have just a few minutes here. All right. Okay. All right. That person that says, I have committed. Okay. It says, oh, you do mentoring. Great. I would very much like to be you to be my mentor, but not yet. That's fantastic. Let us know when you're ready. Okay. Will there be a book signing? I don't know. I don't know what a book signing is anymore. Everything is done online. All right. All right. How do you find the investors to pitch? Right. Let's see. Oh, that was week number 1 giveaway. That was week number 1 giveaway of how to find the private money investors. That was week number 1. I will probably repeat the process. So keep coming back and I'll give that to you. Okay. Let's see here. Any other questions here? There's some people that like the gift. All right. They're saying thank you. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. All right. All right. Okay. Thank you again. All right. And all right. Okay, good. Using a HELOC, a way to invest in commercial real estate. This is from Michael. Michael's asking, could you use a HELOC as a way to invest in commercial real estate? Michael, I would say at least a third of our incoming students are using their HELOC to get started. So the answer is yes. And we're going to put up a video. Team, can you put up a video for Michael on using your home equity? And Michael, I have 1 million views on that topic. So watch it. And we are closing I guess right after Christmas on a property from a student named Amanda. Great lady. This is her first time, buying anything, and she's using her HELOC. And this is in the, near me in the Bay Area, step to cash flow here, but she found one off market and she's closing on it using her HELOC and she has no experience. So we found the right lender for her. All right. Okay. It is 5 minutes after. And again, I just want to thank everyone. So for coming, I am going to do this next Tuesday as well. So please continue to come and hang out with me, bring your questions. And as I mentioned before, on that giveaway, I challenge you to go ahead and use it, right? And bring the results back to me and let me know how it worked. I am sure. All right. Okay, all right. I'll be back next Tuesday, same time. Hope to see you there. And again, my team and I are going to be hanging out for the next 15, 20 minutes. I say team, sometimes longer. So we'll be here in the background. If you guys want to chat, just put more things in the chat and then we'll get back at you. All right. Okay, now before I go, anyone, if I don't talk to you guys before a couple of days. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you all. All right. Take care, everyone. Every successful commercial real estate investor has a mentor. Get mentored by me and my team by applying to be our next protege.
I bought a